It's not an AMA. Short recap about the games. This is a play-by-play. No Instagram, these holograms. Boy, these ain't the same. This out Harmon, you know we do things a different way. We got in the room, come join the team, but don't. Stay tuned, join that Patreon. We do giveaways. Magnetic and ATM, you know they on a different wave. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, pick a day. This out Harmon, you know that we glad you here today. This not an AMA. This not an AMA. This not an AMA. Short recap about the games. This is the play-by-play.
We are live. What's up, everybody? Main slate recap. We got a good one. Week 6. The main slate is in the books, other than the Lions and Cowboys.
They couldn't get that ass whooping done in the normal amount of time that's allotted. You know, it's like a game that's not very close, Mike. But we're in overtime. You know, you got to take this ass whooping a little longer.
Dude, it's not a Cowboys game until I get a Cooper Rush sighting.
I was telling. My dad comes over about halftime, and he looks. He's like, "Whoa, the Cowboys, the Lions." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you never seen these Cowboys?" I'm like, the thing is, they'll play a really good game versus someone like he's a Steelers fan, so he's thinking they just beat us at home. Like, what is this? What is this versus the Lions this week? No, the Cowboys don't show every week, Dad. This is not a team that's consistent. Let's call it that.
That ass whooping was so bad we didn't even get garbage time, Dak. We just skipped that part.
Well, we'll save that for next week because we just don't want to. Mike Jerry's prized possession. We don't want to get hurt.
Mike McCarthy make it out alive after this one?
Yeah,
I hope so.
Of course he will. Mike, the GM, the owner, is 82, and I'm just going to say he's not probably the person that should be the GM. The owner, fine. He's got a lot of money. I'll give him that. Right.
Where are we starting? We starting with us?
We're not going to start. We're not going to start typical as much as I was expecting to. Let's start with something good. Let's not do that today. We'll get to it, right? But let's
get into it,
Mike. Let's get into it. So we're going to start off with Sean Tucker. Whoa, buddy! What the hell happened with Sean Tucker, my friend?
Everybody's RB1 this week, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're all. I don't know how Warp will work because they were all really good. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I'd say the A Warp on them is not going to be good because ain't nobody started this motherfucker. So,
I mean, if you started Sean Tucker, please, you don't even have to super chat. I'll put you straight. I'll put you on here, right, for everyone to see, so you can see that you went off. Best ball though, Mike. I got him in best ball plenty of spots where, to tell you the truth, I was getting ready to I'm looking at a couple teams shit worldwide. I got some cleanup I need to do. I'm pivoting from a rebuild to contender. I'm like, all right. I didn't have Sean Tucker in the league, but I'm like, I need to make some moves here. Sean Tucker's probably on the waiver wire, getting ready to go in the next week or two. Not now.
Yeah.
Not now. Right?
Yeah, he got picked up on. I saw a lot of leagues this morning. The early waiver run.
You gotta love that,
Sean
right?
White, fucking throw a dart at Sean Tucker. I loved it, man. For those people who are heady enough to do it, they're gonna fucking walk away with the RB1 on the week. Here's a crazy thing. Bucky Irving had himself a game, but he just kind of got overshadowed by the fact that Sean Tucker did what he did. Now, here's the real question. Mm-hmm. Is Sean Tucker going to have a role going forward?
Okay, so let me ask you this. What do we do? What do we make of the Rashad White situation? I think that's probably the most important thing to talk about, frankly.
I think he's kind of going to be like how we always picture the Najee Harris, Jalen Warren fucking situation, that it's always going to be a pain in your ass.
I mean, I think
I want to believe that their coaching staff is good, and they will just give Bucky the role. But
yeah,
I don't know, man.
I think the problem is, I think part of the other problem is this game got so out of hand that I wonder if that bakes into Sean Tucker. Listen, he balled out, for the record. To your point, A-Warp wasn't going to be kind because no one had him in lineups. No one even had him sniffing lineups unless you were absolutely cooked and fucked. That said, he had a great game.
Mike,
I wouldn't be surprised to see him have 25% snaps next week.
Number one waiver number one waiver wire ad right there. If he's still on the waiver wire for people.
Am I? Do you disagree? Like, am I out of pocket for saying that? Like, is that possible?
No,
I think that's the likely scenario. Yeah,
I love the kid coming out too. Like
we both were so high on him, right? And then he didn't get drafted, and we're like, oh well, that
could never get any run. I know he had the what was it, a heart issue for him that they were concerned about in the pre-draft process, caused him to go undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of worked his way back, but we never really heard anything from him last year. Like he just never really could get on the field or get activated or do anything. And then you thought maybe this year he'd have a chance. Nah, it was the Bucky Irving show. I don't know. I'm intrigued by Sean Tucker. Now, I'm not going to go out and fucking trade a third for him, Adam, but
sure,
pick him up off waivers, maybe throw a fourth in some like fucking Audric Estime or some shit at him. I don't know. Something along those lines. Fuck around and find out.
I feel like if I can, I almost feel like the play, Mike, might be see if next week is what we're calling for. Right. Lot of rain, and if that's the case, I think maybe we go back and revisit this conversation. You know what I mean?
There you go. I love it though. Love to see it.
This was a sign of life in a big way from Tucker, though. Let's just call that a big win for him, even if it doesn't work out next week and the week after. Speaking of, Mike, I had to give one person before. 44
for running back. Dope.
And you know what's crazy?
For running back from Syracuse. Oh,
he doesn't look in that number. He doesn't look like super fullbacky. You know what I mean? Like he kind of carries it well. I give the kid a lot of props. I wanted to make sure I got at least one person in before we put on the money move of the week, Mike. Because now listen, I didn't tell you that this week was going to be the big boom week, but I did tell you that just any week can happen. Chris Godwin, buddy. Huh? Chris Godwin was balling today, dude. Who would have had on their bingo card Chris Godwin running away from defenders after breaking a couple tackles, albeit terrible tackle attempts, for 50-plus yards? Not me. Not I, buddy. No way.
He went back in his bag. Old school Chris Godwin.
Dude, what did you think of the day, honestly? Like, are you starting to really get hip into Chris Godwin as far as, like, being a absolute smash contender piece?
I think you and I have been there for a few weeks now.
I agree. I'm trying to.
Probably since like week 1.
I think once I saw like week 2 and 3 for sure when the usage was just extremely similar. It's like, okay, Mike, I've seen what I need to see. I'm in. I'm not saying you weren't in. I'm trying to dramatize it up for people that aren't in, because if you're not in, what are we waiting for, dude? Like, I put it on the thumbnail, right? Like, how many weeks of Chris Godwin? When he doesn't smash, Mike, he's still like a top 25, 30 option. He's not like screwing you.
No, he's like a very good wide receiver 3 floor at worst.
But then you see this, like, score more than all the players except for a few quarterbacks, which I know that's a big topic for you and I. The quarterback scoring starting to make its little way, starting to inch back to reality a little bit more, Now, with Godwin and Evans, I think this is the thing. So I actually have both of them in a league. And I think at this point, like, I really love having both, because the one is going to blow up to the point where it makes up for if there's any type of, middling performance from the other. Yeah. Evans, listen, he got the whole Lattimore thing just continues to be whatever the fuck it is. Chris Godwin's going crazy.
There's certain wide receivers that you don't mind having both of them, right? Like the pair, right? So Chase and Higgins, Smitty and AJ Brown,
Hell no. Love that. Right?
Evans and Godwin.
The thing is, Evans and Godwin before the season, Mike, were not even people were puking in the conversation of those others, right?
Yeah.
I think people are starting, if they're not, they're just late to the party. These are two of the guys that the way they yin and yang too, Mike, I'm so curious to see what Warp says. In standard PPR leagues, Warp, wide receiver 6 and 7 going into this week. Oh, buddy. Evans might take a tiny drop, but Godwin's going to be fuck around and find out.
He's going to take a little bit of one. I mean, the Bucs scored 51 points and Mike Evans did fuck all, which was very interesting.
I feel like they all were like, listen, Evans and Lattimore are going to do their own little thing over there. We're just going to let them kind of dance, and we'll just play ball over here,
That Evans-Lattimore thing is really fucking real, man.
Dude, they have, like, remember when people were like a little bit weirded out when we had our little argument on AMA or when we get heated? Those dudes have actual beef, and it carries a stench, and it's just like, what? I don't know.
Must watch.
it's awesome. But there was one attempt to him in the end zone, and like it didn't even look close. It's like, what is it? What is going on with that matchup? I don't care. No. I guess you just kind of deal with it. Nope. Let's see here. I got, what
Bucky.
sucks?
Bucky had
I got a Bucky. I'm trying to get it loaded, and of course it's going to be, you know who. But listen, I'll tell you one thing. Bucky did enough today. Like, I think about it like this, Mike. Bucky balled in a situation where Sean Tucker went off. But to your point, they scored 51 points, so let's like acknowledge that. But
yep.
Bucky, to me, I'm kind of – we were not in on Bucky. I certainly wasn't. Let me just speak for myself.
Nope.
But,
nope.
Mike, I'm starting to feel a little more in on Bucky, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this kid, honestly.
You bury all priors, and you just go with what you see now on the NFL field.
Right.
My concerns were, just historically, if we want to keep it analytical, guys with his speed score throughout history, it's very rare that they come out and they produce. Yeah, you had the one-offs of like Kyron Williams, but I could give you 75 other names who've never done fuck in the NFL with that speed score, which is based on his size and how fucking slow he ran.
Sure.
Here's the thing. Once you actually establish yourself, kind of like I find out with Kyron Williams this year, you got to let go of the fucking priors, man. Got to let go of the priors, man. I'm in on Bucky.
Talk to him, Ben. Talk to him. Talk your talk. That's literally that's my spirit animal.
My only hesitation with him is just I don't know how this workload's going to actually shake out once Rachaad White's back. Because
100%.
These NFL coaching staffs, they're kind of on their bullshit sometimes with their usage of running backs.
I wouldn't even say kind of. Like there's some frustrating ones brewing right now. It's very. The annoyance is getting to be like, why, dude? Why are you so annoying? Speaking of which, let's just pivot from this. Let's get to the Saints, which I don't really even know what to make of some of it. I will say this. There's one clear, obvious, this shouldn't even be a discussion, but somehow it has to be. This guy doesn't – the circumstance is irrelevant, okay? He's going to fucking ball. Just stop caring about the age. Stop caring about the appearance, whatever you think. Just go get him, or if you have him, don't even think about moving him.
Yep. He's just that guy, man. Even with a rookie quarterback who was very, very up and down, Rattler had some good moments. He also had a lot of –
I kind of expect
– That's the Rattler I knew.
There's the guy that was once promised, but had a little bit of a fall. I think I kind of expected something similar. I think he actually did better than I was anticipating in a way. Like there was more good to see than overall. I think the problem for him, and this is where people want things to happen that are just so unrealistic. Okay, for him to take over this Derek Carr job, guys, he's gonna need to win games and like super. He's gonna have to go so far past what normalcy would be. I'm not saying he can't. He's going to have to go Superman next game or something if that's going to be the case. I think it's Derek Carr's job to be had when he comes back. But
and unfortunately for him, Chris Olave went out real early too.
Yeah, let's talk about that, dude. That didn't look good. And honestly, he is becoming someone we've talked about. Just the value doesn't meet the dynasty value doesn't meet the production, and it's getting really scary with this injury too. That hit looked bad.
Yep. It looked like it would probably be a couple-week one, in my opinion.
A Malik type of deal, yeah.
Yeah, like a neighbor's kind, where you're like, oh, it's just concussion. It'll be back next week, and then we find out, 2 weeks in, it's still not really good. But I don't know. I wanted to see what Rattler would do after he was saying, I'm going to pepper this dude with targets, but you only got to see one, and then he off the field.
I do believe him still. Like I in my heart, I want to believe that was going to be the case. It's just I think the other team knew it so much, Mike. They doubled him and just absolutely pummeled him as soon as he touched the rock. So unfortunately, I don't know, Mike. What do you do with Chris Olave in Dynasty right now? On a contender, obviously.
Been selling.
I guess now, because I think we have been. The spots I have him, I'm kind of feeling like we are kind of fucking stuck.
You're gonna have to ride it up.
What do you is it to the point where you can't do anything really? I feel like no one's paying any type of Olave prices anymore.
Exactly. If I showed you a picture of Jalen Waddle and told you to tell me the difference between the two, what do you got? Nothing. Same fucking picture. You're probably stuck with him if you got him because you still feel some kind of way about him, but I don't know if there's a lot of suitors out there, so you're probably just stuck holding this dude. Makes me feel kind of
shitty. And Mike, you and I were both on for a while. We've been on Olave's a little bit overpriced. You were right during the pre-draft process and during the draft process. Go get him. I should have listened to you and Jay Rich, but I digress because now
he
here
was,
we
he
are.
was undervalued.
Right.
Yeah, he was way undervalued then.
Now it's moved to the point where him and Waddle are in that tier where we'll get to a player on a different team that I'm kind of concerned. I think he has more upside, but we might be already pushing his value past that. One thing I'll say, value is not going to be the case that's a problem here. Buddy, Scott Fishbowl or not, let me get Shaheed in these. The days are long gone of which we discussed, like, is he a best ball dart? Yes, he's a best ball dart. And honestly, regular lineup league, Mike, I'm good. I'll flex that thing every week, buddy. Let's do it.
So I go to Scott Fishbowl and Shaheed gets me 30-plus points this week.
Of course.
And I go to another lineup league where I started Shaheed this week and come to the terrible realization that for whatever reason, whoever the fuck set this league up doesn't give you points at all for a touchdown.
No return.
Oh, yeah. Team.
Yeah, a lot of leagues a lot of leagues are actually like that, believe it or not. It's just normally doesn't matter because people aren't returning shit, you know what I mean?
So I'm enjoying my 2.3 points on a Shaheed in that league. Like, what the fuck? At least give me the touchdown.
That actually that is a pretty wild statement to think about, right? 30 versus 2.3. That is hard to even fathom.
Massive.
That's
massive difference. Yeah.
Scott
Fishbowl, I'm over the moon. That lineup league I started it in, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I'm in a league. The other league I have him in, you get. It's not like crazy boosted like Scott Fishbowl, but you get a little bit of return stuff. So he had a good day there. Mike, let's get to a primetime matchup. You're in my game of the Eagles and Browns. We'll get to next, but Mike, I put this on the big screen, and I'll say what I kind of expected. To be completely honest, it's easy to say now and act like I didn't give a prediction. I kind of expected the Ravens to show they were the class act, and they did that. But I will say, with all that said, buddy, the Commanders have found themselves the guy. They are a team that is not quite in the elite mix yet, but they are going to be a problem soon if they do not screw up the GM side of things, because this team with Jaden Daniels at the helm is a total new bag of problems, buddy. Like I'll give them all the props in the world, dude. J-Day is looking every bit of him.
Did you hear Romo on the broadcast too? We got a face-off of 2 MVPs, and then he had to clarify. Obviously, Jaden's not an MVP yet, but he has all the makings of being one real fucking soon. So, yeah, he's him, man. He's him. It was pretty big. It was kind of circled on my calendar for Jaden Daniels. The early part of the schedule, softer defenses. Baltimore, elite as elite, and he went toe for toe, blow for blow, right? Like, this guy went out and fucking balled his ass off, and for fantasy purposes too, you look at it, you're like, he only had 22 rushing yards, he didn't have a touchdown. Didn't matter. 2 passing touchdowns, 2 picks, 269 yards against Baltimore's defense, kept him in the game.
I think, I might sound like a broken record, but I think, again, what was impressive to me about it was there was a lot of today that didn't go the way that you would draw it up, and he doesn't blink. He doesn't – like, there's so many quarterbacks that are vets right now that are good ones that we like, that in those type of moments just freeze up and clamp up, and they kind of don't play through those moments like you'd like. This kid is a young rookie on a franchise that has been a disaster, an utter disaster. Romo said the old name. It was pretty awesome hearing him use that name. You know, they got a whole new team. They got a whole new logo. They got a team name. But Mike, I think they're in as good a hands as you could be. And I'll say this: I meant to have a blow up. I didn't quite get it, but dude, he is, at least for now, he has revived this man. And it's almost like Mike's little agenda he has here is just going to the moon. Like the stratospheres of which you can call something and it just goes perfect. It's happening. Like, don't mess with the Commanders. Don't mess with Mike on this tip. You are going to lose. It's just going to go his way. Dude, he's that second touchdown, he had no business catching. Daniels definitely did not throw that ball and deliver it timely. And he still just reeled it in. And you're like, okay, things can't get much better for this guy right now. It's kind of sky high. He needed to blow up in a big way. He had a great game.
I saw the comment. We didn't put it on screen, but I saw the comment earlier in the week when I said Terry McLaurin was worth a first, and somebody laughed at me. Who's laughing now, motherfucker?
Well, I will say, I'm kind of curious if people still – I don't think they're laughing. But I feel like people still are like, I'm not paying a first for Terry. That I will say though, what I'm kind of curious to see more than anything, Mike, can I tell you, he's another player, like him and Godwin, right? These guys, with the current landscape, right? They get to this point of just it's boredom and it's age, and they're not going to go past a certain cap. But I feel like it's starting to get to a point of egregiousness where we leave them in the 30s and 40s because of there being not an aging vet. They're just like not young anymore.
28, 29. Yeah, 28, 29.
I feel like this little tier, I don't know what we need to term it something. We need to call it something because it is I think it's the most fascinating tier in Dynasty right now to me, is like the fact that Godwin doesn't have value after he's already smashing, just has maybe his value will change. Terry had a much slower start, so I kind of get it more, but it's like, hey guys, at a certain point, what are we doing here? Like, do you like points?
Stop.
Do you like scoring? I mean,
Do you like winning?
I guess I'm curious to see if you have to pay a first. I mean, obviously, there's no question he's going to continue to skyrocket even for this type of thing. He's 27 spots up. He's up to wide receiver 35. Where would you put him right now in Dynasty? Forget the first combo for a second, like wide receiver wise. That I think is the question people want to know.
Teens. Teens.
So you are paying a first. I mean,
Definitely.
I'm not disagreeing with that port. I'm saying, okay. So here there's some easy ones for me. I'll take him over Xavier Worthy. I know you love him. I'll take him over JMO.
Yeah.
I think Addison's he did. I think the conversation for Addison's very real.
I just want consistency.
The teens though.
I'll
So
take
are you putting
Terry
him ahead of T. Higgins?
I
feel like when you get to the early 20s, you're gonna have a harder time than you think.
T. Higgins is a tough one. T. Higgins for Dynasty, Terry McLaurin for this year.
That's fair. Do you think T could make it close for the way that the Bengals are playing?
But they also might run themselves completely out of this, where they're a fucking dumpster franchise here by the end of the.
Yeah, you got imagine what this looks like with Chase without a deal, Burrow possibly having another banged up injury, and T. Higgins being like, yeah, just let me get out of here. I'm with
Terry
you.
McLaurin over Rice, Terry McLaurin over Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin over DJ Moore.
Over Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, over Jalen Waddle, over Brandon Ayuk.
How about, I know you can't get him, well, let me not spoil it. Let's get to, let's just quickly pivot to the other side of the ball, because we could mention Eckler. He looked good real quick. But, Mike, I think the thing that stole the show today in general, two things, but one is this, the Zay Flowers experience, buddy. We'll get Lamar and King up in due time. But let's talk about Zay Flowers for a minute, man. Let's talk about Zay Flowers.
Came out, set the tone, didn't he?
Dude, it's like, I will say the Commanders have some problems on defense, but that wasn't the issue. This team, if they're playing the right way, and Lamar is reading things in which he's currently, like his progressions right now are so clean. He looks so poised. Buddy, that team, the way in which they run the football, and they have a incredibly elusive back, basically, in Lamar when he runs. And then you have Derrick Henry that can just absolutely destroy human beings. You have to pick your poison, right? And if you go too heavy in the box, Four is running wide, spanking open out here, buddy. Like, he was running naked on some of these routes, dude. Like, wide.
And then him in the open field is disgusting.
Like,
who wants that?
Again, like, the only thing that's going to keep him from getting to high-end territory will be what his touchdown upside is. But, Mike, here's the thing. Like, this game today, yards are just fine for me. I'll take a lot of yards. I'm okay with a lot of yards. Like, he was balling, bro.
Are you mad at 22 PPR points?
If you are, I think you have expectations.
The only thing you could be mad at is I don't think this motherfucker had a target after halftime. Like, he didn't. They went to the Derrick Henry run the ball show and then throw it to Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. But
yeah, I will say Mark Andrews
did all your work
back
in the first half. You got me 22 points. You can just chill if you want. Like, you're good, buddy.
You know what? You a job well done, right? Like, I'll let you. Mike, the thing is, for it finishing as a 7-point game, though, the Ravens really dominated this football game, and
they did.
Like, it was never within question. And I'm just, dude, the way in which Derrick Henry's playing right now, bro, is, knock on wood, if something doesn't happen to this big old hoss, we are talking about an absolute unit in this offense. It is ridiculous when he gets going.
The way the offensive line, that was a huge question mark, especially to start the season, has kind of gelled and shored themselves up. And now they're in more positive game scripts almost all the time now.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's going to be a fucking problem. He's going to be a real big fucking problem.
Dude, he is a problem. He's a serious problem. And the thing is, like, even in these games where he's having a bad performance, like last week, right? 2 weeks ago, he has a 50-yard run just to, like, salvage the entire day. We already had a touchdown. So it's like it wasn't going to be awful. Mm-hmm. And now it's actually, like, more than salvageable. That's a bad week. Like, I still think there's going to be some times where this team eventually will get down and, you know, you get more of that Justice Hill. And it's not the same level of upside. But his floor is starting to feel weekly a lot better than I think we anticipated too. That part is definitely scary in the fantasy landscape, different than that guy running downhill at your crazy ass, you know.
What's he up to? 10 tutties on the year already through 6 games?
Bro, we were talking about this. So Jack Settleman's he did a podcast with Marlon Humphrey. He's very like in the know. And I was asking him, and he put it at 20. If Henry stays healthy, 20 plus easy. And I was kind of like, I see it, but it feels just a little bit egregious for you to say it easy like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just at the time, it was like kind of rubbing me not necessarily wrong, but like just out here flaunting 20 plus easy. And it's like, bro, this guy stays healthy. 20 plus is not only easy. That's like week 12, week 11. Bro, he's killing.
He's at 9 for the year. 8 rushing, 1 receiving.
And this is through 6 weeks, right?
Through 6 weeks.
Buddy, we're talking fantasy football. We're talking 16. Dude, he could 20 easy. Yeah. Spot on.
Fucking wild. Derrick Henry's that dude, man. Love
when
him,
he gets,
man.
I love seeing when he gets in the open field. Like when you get some of these when they're running more wide and you see the lane open, you're like, okay, yeah, go, let's get it. Let's get on that horse. And we just talked about 2 players that are dominating for fantasy. Not to even get to this guy who's
MVP.
He's the way another. Speaking of like the Jaden Daniels thing, similarly here, right? They got adversity coming at him early, and the fact that they had a slow start, no one's even fucking knowing anymore. He just stayed so even keel. Pretty cool to watch his progression as a player, quarterback, his mannerisms, all that, man. So
if you still hate on Lamar Jackson because you don't think he can play quarterback, I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Like, well, Mike, he can't do anything in the playoffs, right? The playoffs, you know? Come on. The playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, are they going to make it? Let's talk about Fizzle. If you're here, I don't know if you want to stay.
I wouldn't.
Playoffs.
I'd turn this fucking shit off, man.
Dude, the Dallas Cowboys are such a fun, puzzling, dumb team. Like, bro, the fact that they can be in that game with Pittsburgh, good defense, and, you know, Dak at it was 4th down. It took them last play, but like the week-to-week show-up of Dallas is just I think it's the most interesting thing in fantasy football and just football, period. Like, the Dallas Cowboys, who shows up, you have no idea right now. It is insane.
It isn't even a home road thing.
No.
Because their last 4 home games, they're getting blown out at halftime in every fucking one of them in front of the hose.
I mean, you talk about in front of the hose, buddy. America's team, that's in front of the hose. Like, what's kind of crazy to me, it makes me feel like McCarthy, you talked about, I think at some point, is that he make it through the year. Jerry, I don't know what he's thinking and doing. Like, bro, for this team to have these type of performances more than once a year is like something in the locker room just can't be right. That's not how NFL teams show up for business, man, on a weekly basis.
So talk about early in the game, too. One of the most perplexing things for me, Rico Dotto just came off a breakout game the previous week.
Why are we going to give him any work? Let's put him up on the screen, though.
Why would we give him any work? Why don't we give these touches to Ezekiel Elliott, who looks like he's running
he was probably pouting. He only had like 4 or 5 touches last week. We got to get the kid, you know, going. Feed Zeke, right?
They still have not figured out a way to get CeeDee Lamb really going, to get him and Dak on the same page. Even when Dak does target him in the end zone, it's a terrible ball that gets picked off. It's disgusting. If I'm CeeDee, I'm fucking furious, man. The one person on this team on Dallas that I feel bad for is CeeDee Lamb at this point.
I mean,
get me out of here.
The crazy part, Mike. So I'm sitting there conjuring up. This is actually, I made a redraft trade, which is almost impossible to do, right? I'm looking. I'm like, I should get CeeDee Lamb, and then I'm looking. I'm like, no. He's going to cost way too much, and he's not doing shit. And I don't know how confident I feel in him being this old wide receiver 1 overall that I talked about not that long ago. And I'm like, you know who's probably going to cost me a lot less is Mike Evans right here. Why would I even consider going the CeeDee Lamb price and just let me see if where he's at on Mike Evans. And if you go to try to trade for CeeDee Lamb, this is anywhere, you're going to be paying the price of CeeDee Lamb. But Mike, right now, I'm not gonna do is last year. I'm not gonna do last year where we erupted this man's year. But this CeeDee Lamb right now, I don't know that it's his fault, but like the offseason hiccups feel like they're carrying over, and this team right now just, I don't know. It's week to week, but it just feels weird.
Is this the one though? Because it was this time last year, week 6.
It was it was because Mike. So it was actually week 7. I remember because week 8 was the Halloween recap, and it was the Halloween recap where like, hey buddy, I think CeeDee Lamb hurt us. But yeah, we're a week early from the yearly annual tradition we're pulling up
for
here.
my sanity, and all the CeeDee Lamb that I have and continue to acquire. I want to say it's fucking over. CeeDee Lamb ain't gonna do shit for the rest of the year. Him and Dak are terrible. This offense is garbage.
For a guy that actually wants this team to do poorly, why would you put that in the ether? You just you are so high on Jaden Daniels right now. You don't know the potentials in which you're messing with right now for your because we'll get to the game. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to touch on any other Cowboys. Honestly, it feels like you don't have to touch on the Lions either. What's the point on? They just absolutely slaughtered this team. Like everybody did well. Who did poorly?
Killed them. Jahmyr Gibbs did not get a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean he didn't get a touchdown.
That's the cold water. That's all I got. Still went 63 yards on the ground.
Yeah, I mean I think what did he finish like? So full PPR. I'm sorry, half PPR. He was 13. So let me go to full PPR and just see. What he probably finished like 15 maybe, which if you think about that, that's currently, where would that be?
12.1.
12.1. Okay. So, and that puts him probably at what? Running back like 20. Running back 18. Right behind Kamani Vidal. Mike, can I tell you? You want to hear about your favorite guy, your 14-year-old friend? So he goes to pick up Kamani Vidal. Yeah, this is Andrew Mott. Shout out, by the way, to the League FFB. Go check him out on YouTube. Give him a sub. Mike, this is one of those where, so it happened early in the year where the London game you forget about is at 9:30. So the transactions in this league don't go down to 11. So when you're going to drop a London player, that transaction can't go through because that player is playing now.
Yep.
So he ended up having the whole hiccup and not loving it week 1. All for today, he would have won Kamani Vidal, except for Roshan Johnson, and it's tough because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And listen, the rules can't change, but you are able to, hopefully, and maybe not. But the crazy part, though, Kamani Vidal, we'll get to him. I don't have a Holly, but he looked pretty good. I'm kind of curious to see what happens in this situation moving forward there. Everybody else though, Monty looked good, right? I mean, does Monty look bad weekly? I'm waiting for like a shitty Monty week, and I don't think it's coming. No. At least it feels like it's not. He looks good.
I've been a known Monty hater for a while. I acknowledge Monty's fucking good. And
good. I was waiting for you to have this moment to come to Jesus moment.
He's got that new contract. Sam Laporta got a touchdown finally.
Not just a touchdown, not just any touchdown, a 52-yard bomb. Mike, I'll be honest with you though. I need to get Sammy. Oh no, we're good. I just haven't loaded it. We've had no reason to put him up on here, but let's go ahead and give the kid let's give the kid a chance.
It's off the schneid. Let's go.
Nick called this, and I was like, I would never doubt the talent of him, but I'm like, I don't know. I would have had a hard time penciling when he's going to actually go off because it felt like it was just not going to happen. What is nice to see, unless you're a Dallas fan, is a game like this for Detroit where everybody eats. Everybody eats, B. Everybody motherfucking eats.
Fucking Khalif Raymond was eating.
Speaking of eating,
Patrick was eating.
Speaking of eating, let's get to the team that's absolutely not, and maybe the woe of not just the NFL, but arguably sports franchises, Mike. They played the Philadelphia Eagles today. I could not start with them. I could break tradition for this. This team is so bad. And then we have, Mike, it's like the offensive line can't get worse, right? No, Nick Harris can get carted off. Like, dude, we might have the worst offensive line of the century. Like, we have no healthy starters, dude. None.
Did you see the graphic? Eagles had only had like fucking 6 sacks all fucking year. Like we just could not generate a pass rush today versus the Browns.
Guys, today's your day to go pad those stats, buddy. Get every bit of your pad statting, you know? Trick or treat, come early.
Today's the fucking day that you're going to get all your sacks.
Dude, like when you watch them, unless the ball's coming out on like a slant or something, like double moves are just, you might as well get them out of the playbook. Like this team can't block anything. Not to mention, I don't know if it matters if they can block. They're horrible.
I knew you were fucked. I knew you were fucked with Bryce Huff, who hadn't done fuck all since he became an Eagle.
Why do you got to do this to me? I know. I knew it too.
Had a half sack and a tackle for a loss, and I was like, what the fuck?
Did you see how
No.
even Bryce Huff was like, whoa. You see how easy that was? It's like
happened?
JV. How'd I get back there so fast? It was like a magic trick.
You guys can't run the football to save your fucking life. Your offensive line is terrible, and it's not looking any better, man. Jerome Ford got hurt, left early, and it was a pure strong show. So,
Mike, I am in a battle for my life in a redraft league where someone started A-Rich because Jerome Ford and just my team is just loaded. Mike, I'm curious. This is a clip from last week. I'm not misrepresenting. This is not from this week, but I'm curious if you think.
Yeah, we're not changing quarterbacks. We need to play better. I need to coach better, and that's really what it is.
Do you think that's still the just generic answer here coming out of fucking the building? Like, how long can we lie to ourselves?
Here's the unpopular opinion.
Oh no,
I think it's the correct answer. Because do you want to see even more unmobile Jameis Winston behind this offensive line?
Yeah, I do. I want to see somebody else suck.
He's gonna fucking die.
I know, okay. That's okay.
You just want to see it.
He's a personality at this point. If that happens, right? I'm okay with it. He's had a good little career. Like I want to see somebody else go in there and be that bad. Like I need to see that for myself because I'm convinced that Deshaun Watson is actually a 1,000% a fraudulent. I'm not going to call him a quarterback, a football player. Like he doesn't want to call himself a running back. We had the one time we tried to go. You see the design run with him, and he got met at the sideline in a hurry. Yeah, you're not a running back. I'll give you that. We're so bad. Let's get to the Eagles because it wasn't a great day for them, but they did listen. Sometimes you just got to get what you need, which is a win. AJ Brown. Yeah. I was playing Nick in a big money league, and Mike, he has AJ Brown going, so it's like double whammy. I'm watching, and I already know the Browns are going to get beat, but why? Can it be anybody else, please? Like no. AJ Brown looked like whatever the injury was, which we know what it is, but you just put it away. It doesn't. It's in the past. This guy looks fine. Looks great.
The Eagles' offense as a whole still did not look very good. And I know it's Cleveland who does have a good defense, but AJ Brown makes up for a lot of shit. Right? He definitely made up for a lot of shit on offense. So thank God he's back. Jesus. I feel bad for anyone who besmirches the good name of AJ Brown. Fizzle.
Dude, the first touchdown he had, I just want to point this part out where like the way he kind of adjusted his body and slowed down for that thing just to drop into like a hat like that. Underappreciated savviness for a guy that moves like that, bro. Like
he did it on the game winner too. You know, when they're trying to run the clock out, get one more first down. Did the same thing when he threw down the sideline. Slowed down just enough.
Yeah, he's there's no jokes, man. This dude is. And
he's out there blocking his ass off on the Smitty touchdown, too. Like, the dude at the goal line was like, nah, fuck that. I ain't trying.
I'm good.
You know when Smitty caught the ball and started running down the sideline? That DB was like, oh, yeah, I'm about to lay this little fucker out right at the goal line. And then A.J. Brown got in the way. Was like, what's up? What's up? You want to do something? Didn't think so.
Well, you can second guess yourself right about now if you want to take a chance to, Mike, let me ask you with Jalen Hurts, how you feeling right now?
It's work in progress still. It was a better game, but I expected a lot more coming off the bye, the way he talked. But like I said, it's a tough one to judge too, because Cleveland, as much shit as you'll give them, and how much all you Cleveland guys hate, your defense still is fucking elite. It's still elite at every single level.
The reason it doesn't look elite, Mike, is because they are just left on the field. They're just left out there because the offense does nothing.
You are the NFL version of like what I've had to deal with the Iowa Hawkeyes for not this year because we're scoring 40 points every single week it seems like, but what I've had to deal with the Iowa Hawkeyes for the last couple of years, where it's like, can the offense just fucking do something?
Anything?
Can I get like 2-3 first downs on this drive so the fucking defense can get a rest? Because
Sure.
I'm gonna need them to score a touchdown in order to win this fucking game. But you just don't get it.
What about quads today?
It's tough, man. Cleveland's defense again. Usage was kind of interesting. There's a little still too much Kenneth Gainwell, I think I saw.
I'm ready
Saquon
to fucking
say
fight
too.
Yeah, I'm ready to fight your boy Sirianni.
I think
I'm
I
ready.
saw fucking Saquon say something to him on the sideline. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why am I not in the game?
Listen, I don't really have a bone to pick with you until you do this, and now I'm ready to fight. Like, what do we? The guy has been so good. I guess here's the thing: they ended up winning the game, but I feel like you also could have. I think everyone should acknowledge they could have cleaned up Cleveland. Cleveland's a team to be cleaned up.
Could have.
They're a team that can be dealt with like the Raiders were today. Speaking of which, let's get to that. I don't know. We'll quickly sift through the Raiders. It's not even worth talking about. Brock Bowers is the tight end that you want if you care about the tight end position. Unfortunately, I personally don't still. But he's as advertised too, buddy. He's legit, boss.
Yep. Goes out and does his thing. I still think I'm selling them in Dynasty because the price is so high.
I'm no longer selling them because they don't exist. They're all gone. It's all gone.
Exist,
But if I had them, yeah, I'm with you. I think every week that he keeps performing like this, I think naturally it's like I don't want to get rid of him. Is maybe the thought process, but to me, it's that position just doesn't have the value, and I'm not willing to bet on him being Travis Kelce to the field over the next 5-10 years. So
the Raiders are such a shit show.
They are. Alexander Mattison, though, as gross as it was, actually, little lineup play I had to put him in. I felt awful about it. I'm like, versus Pittsburgh, too. Like, this options are grim. He got in the end zone early. He should have gotten in the end zone again. There's a nice holding. I'm curious what you think of Madison. I'm not really all that super interested, but I was impressed today, to be honest, for a Madison play.
Listen, in some leagues that you need a little running back depth or you need those kind of spot starts, Alexander Madison for a third is not crazy just because he's getting work.
Yeah, and honestly, like the Zamir White thing to me is just no.
I'm done. I'm done with it. And listen, we got one Dylan Lobby touch, which he promptly fumbled.
Welcome from New Hampshire to the NFL, buddy. It's the big leagues, and you certainly kind of pissed down your leg for us.
Fucked him up.
Dude, TJ Watt is a fucking menace. He is a problem.
Yes, he is.
Let's get to Mike.
Defensive MVP right there. Again.
Mike, I'll tell you one thing, though. Just when I thought that they didn't exist, right? Well, this is awesome. We gotta make Najee bigger than this, but you know what? We'll give him some love today, right? That's what happened. He showed us that it does. They do exist. Like the M&M commercial, they do exist. The big plays. He had 2 of them today.
He did.
Honestly, the second one to me was one I was like, okay, that's a Najee Harris I kind of forgot even was a possible existence. Like, that was nice to see him. And then also dive in, like, okay, you needed to do that. Your season was absolutely fucking dreadful.
Again, you've played sports, but just to relate to the average man, like, maybe it's dating or maybe it's at your job. But say somebody gives you a heads up that you're about to, lose your girl or you're about to lose your position at your work.
You're not anywhere near what you thought you were. Yeah.
And they tell you they tell you ahead of time, like, yeah, it's for fucking Steve over here. And you're like, oh, I'm fucking way better than Steve. I'm fucking way better than Steve. You may have been slacking. I think that's what happened to Najee. Was like, hey, Jalen Warren's back, and he's like, I'll show you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Jalen,
unfortunately,
who gives a fuck?
Unfortunately, since his rookie season, though, those conversations with the Steelers organization have not been fun for him. The fifth year option, which he was probably in his rookie year being like, am I going to get this whole Le'Veon Bell treatment? Like, yeah, you would beg for that. You would die for that.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
Speaking of which, I need to get this guy a blow up because I'm ready to say there's going to be some off weeks, but buddy, when it's on, listen, I haven't hit them all, but when I'm hitting this year, buddy, it's good, and I have so much field for a guy that was like telling everyone, listen, Russ is not going to lose his job just because of Pittsburgh. The thing is, because of the way it went, that same conversation just goes to Fields, but better, because if he's not turning the ball over, it's all good, and there's absolutely no reason to pivot from him. Mike, I had to put in the same type of text that you saw there, the every other capital. But Russ is lurking. Yeah, okay. Get the fuck out of here. Dude, Fields looks so good, and I think he's such a perfect match. Go ahead.
Are we sold on him now?
I've been. I mean, I don't know. Are you
I know
guys
you
sold?
have been. You asked me last week.
No, I know. I'm with you. I am sold.
And on the AMA, we talked about it too. I said the fucking Russ thing, and it's not because I think he deserves a chance.
Because you just worried it could happen.
The fucking media kept bringing it up. But I think now, like, maybe after this week, we just don't hear that shit no more.
Because the thing is, now, if they would have lost to the Raiders somehow, Mike, and it's 3-3,
yeah,
maybe Tomlin's like, you know what? I want to stay above 500. This is about my most comfortable is 500. But, dude, can I just say the thing about it to me is obviously last week was not what you're looking for in fantasy, but I still believe strongly this guy's getting better. I think people may not realize this. I feel like weekly he's getting better and having a stronger command of the offense, throwing the ball well. And this offense, I think what's missed is you say what you want about him as a passer. This offense has nothing. Their weaponry is fucking atrocious.
I was just going to say, just wait till next week when Davante Adams is playing as the number one wide receiver in Pittsburgh.
Oh, buddy. Can we get a creamsicle? I mean, you talk about a creamsicle jersey. That's a real-life creamsicle.
And George Pickens goes back to what he's doing best, being a menacing number 2 wide receiver. Not a
crying.
alpha.
Stop crying, dude. But that was a hell of a catch. See, the thing is, he can still make those like one-time crazy catches, but that just doesn't make me all that.
He's very talented. He's not built to be an alpha. He's built to be a very good hype man, number 2.
That was harsh. Michael Wilson, hype man or not, whether you like the usage or not, it keeps kind of happening. He had a touchdown, right, to not save the target volume, which didn't really come.
Nope. Kyler didn't play very well today.
Well, he didn't. The team didn't. Mike, can I tell you one thing about Michael Wilson I found interesting? Because Marvin Harrison leaves the game with a concussion. Michael Wilson gets 2 targets. Now, to your point, the whole offense was just crap. But the Cardinals, man, sometimes I think cultures and teams just have a hard time getting past what. There is something about this team that just does not want to move this needle. Like, it just doesn't happen. They're
afraid to take that step forward, right? They could beat the 49ers, and then they come out and just lay an egg versus the Packers.
I feel very confident now more than ever, Mike, that the Niners beat themselves that game is what it's feeling like to me. You know,
that's fair, too, especially after watching Thursday night where they almost tried to piss that one away against the Seahawks, who they were dominating for the whole game. So
if Geno wasn't so bad,
maybe a Niners.
They would have done it again, you know?
They would have. No, it became the Trey McBride show, though. Fucking Trey McBride, tight end, let's go.
Tight ends stand up. It's a week. We have a week. They can have a week.
Mark Andrews scores a touchdown, gets more than fucking 1 target. It's great.
Mark Andrews needs a hologram, buddy. Like, I mean, could you imagine?
Cole Kmet in the Sunday morning games going off. Like, fucking, we back? Tight ends back?
Here I am in one of my dynasty leagues where Mark Andrews in a lineup is just going in every week, and people are probably like, "What is wrong with this dude?" And I'm like, "You guys don't care. I don't care about the position. Mark Andrews is just an A-warp tight end at this point." So, he was killing me, but had a great day today. But I think the tight ends are still going to have their booms. But Mike, what does that mean over the course of the season? Really, you know what I mean?
Just in general, if the quarterbacks continue to play well, like they have as a whole, like the passing offenses are definitely getting better. I think we can acknowledge that as a whole.
They're adjusting.
Tight ends
for sure.
are going to be back, but in the same sense, we saw almost a full year last year of quarterbacks playing well, and tight ends still didn't really matter. So the answer is still I don't give a shit. It's nice to talk about, though.
It's fun to spitball and kind of theorize, you know, right?
It is.
Speaking of, let's get to an offense that is actually fun. Funny how things can change in a year, Mike. A year ago, we're like Jordan Love might not keep a job, get rid of the whole wide receiving core because they have no buddy. I wasn't the only person that said this.
Okay. Well, you said we, so I figured you were included me. And as the resident, like Jordan Love, like trying to get you on that train last year.
Well, no, okay. You were saying he did well with Warp, but you weren't at this point, week 6, saying that he's locking up his job.
No.
Yeah, that's that. The point is, Mike, if you don't want your name in that type of thing, you've had worse takes than that, so don't give me that shit, all right?
All right.
The point is how far this offense has come to where you just want everybody. Maybe not quite everybody. It might be a little bit overboard, but almost. This offense is just, if they can keep Jordan Love upright, dude, he is slinging it, man. And it's the beneficiaries. Like, I didn't think Watson was going to ever be a thing, and had a nice touchdown today, right? Jaden Reed though is a guy that's just he's getting to elite conversation for production, dude.
He made Jesse Morris look like a fucking idiot. I would say Dr. Jesse Morris, but the guy always puts his foot in his mouth. So I think we could take away his PhD.
That's wild. I love that. I did not expect that type of a pull on recap tonight. Love it.
Nah, I got you, man. D-Bro out there, quote tweeting it. He won't fucking say it, but I'll say it. I don't give a shit. What's he want to do? Fight me? I've been working out, son. You don't want this. Somebody said I got D cups. You're right. It's all pecs. It's all pecs. Jaden Reed, though. Jaden Reed. Remember we got clowned a couple weeks ago? You guys should get Dontavian Wicks. You don't fucking want fucking Jaden Reed.
You guys are so reactionary. This dynasty.
I want Jaden Reed. And maybe I want Christian Watson on the weeks that he's healthy and doesn't hurt his,
You know what?
hamstring.
Maybe I'll sprinkle a little of that in there too. Like,
fuck it. Romeo Dobbs, fresh off of suspension, 2 touchdowns. Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, which one? I mean, who do you want? It wasn't
the only thing that was no real Tucker Craft. That was kind of wah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with the Tucker Craft experience. If you thought the 2 touchdown blow up game from last week is going to be an every week thing, you're really in la la land that you need some help. Like, it's the tight end position, right?
Some shitters in the Discord tried to take a fucking shot at me this week and be like, "Would you buy Josh Jacobs for 2 seconds? Is Mike finally ready to admit he was wrong?" No. You know why? Because he's mid. He's mid as fuck. And Emmanuel Wilson actually looks better when he gets touches.
That's another. Well, but
when the king that was promised Marshawn Lloyd comes, Josh Jacobs mid as shit. Mid as fuck. I wouldn't trade 1 second for him. I take that back. That's a lie. I'd trade like a late second for him.
I traded a second and a third in a best ball league where it's like, if I can actually get him for that, I'm fine. But that's only because Koopa's reasonable. Everybody else thinks he doesn't live in
Fugazi land.
They treat him more like Mark Jacobs, buddy, than Josh Jacobs.
Jacobs.
I don't know why I misused his name there, but I'm like, it's a perfect pivot. Let's talk about
fucking Jordan Love. Put Jordan Love's hologram up though. We didn't get to see it yet, and that guy fucking deserves it because he's the.
Listen, I got no qualms with the discussion. I think we just leave the fire on until he's gonna have to do something multiple weeks in a row for me to want to take that off. He's one of the quarterbacks right now, Mike, that really feels it's kind of crazy to think about. Regardless of what you thought about him a year ago, it was uncertain for sure. Like, we didn't know. We never saw the guy. He is looking like a pro's pro. He is looking so fucking good, man.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now because we're off. We're off an incredible return from Jordan Love, like he's been on a heater, right, since he's been back.
As you can see.
Now, except the first half. First half versus the Vikings was not good. Second half versus the Vikings was epic. He's been on a credible heater. Adam, I'm gonna tell you right now. Mm-hmm. Well, would you rather? But I'll do it like this.
Okay.
Keep trade cut. I need you to keep one, trade one, cut one.
Okay.
Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow. Rank them.
Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow. Yep. I'm keeping Love. I'm gonna go Burrow, and then I'm gonna go Stroud. But honestly, like, they're the same picture to me. If you told me I should flip it, that's fine. I think C.J. Stroud still, regardless of what you think, is gonna be the best traded asset. So that needs to probably be more of a conversation, and maybe I should switch my answer. But I'm at the point, Mike, where I feel like Jordan Love. We talked about this more so, like a half a year ago, let's call it, the offseason. Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud is name brand, off brand, but there's really no difference, like
same picture.
I kind of for production purposes, I kind of prefer Love.
I kind of like the feel goods of Jordan Love too. Like, it's fun.
I'm kind of
that CJ Stroud's not fun, but like everybody's on CJ Stroud. It feels good being on team Jordan Love.
He's fun, but it's also like you don't want to say your favorite song is the number one on the hit chart. Everybody's favorite song, right? It's like, come on.
No shit.
Speaking of which, the Titans are so horrible, but
you gotta go off the map with like Taboo Miami by Moneybagg Yo.
Tony Pollard, my man. Like, Tony Pollard is the only thing in Titans territory that I guess I care about, really, honestly. Will Levis is Mike. Speaking of quarterback takes, I'm not going to do it. We all know.
I had him as QB1 of the class.
It's funny. It's funny how
last year. I'll fucking say it.
It's funny how I was like, dude, you've had worse takes, and literally we had to go to literally the next team before it's like, yeah, we've all missed. It's okay. Mike Will Levis to me is as close as Watson is on watch alert right now. It is.
Maybe this is the thing, right? Like, don't trust Mike's rookie quarterback ranks in odd years. Only trust him in even years.
Okay, so we're gonna be due for some mayhem coming up next year.
So whatever the fuck I say for this next year's class, don't fucking listen to a goddamn word because it's all bullshit.
To be fair,
but then at 26, I'm gonna be fucking spot on. So you better pay attention.
To be fair, for you to repeat 24 is impossible considering Jaden Daniels went to the number 1 overall player in fucking Dynasty. So like it doesn't get better than that. Congrats, by the way, great call. He looks awesome. The Colts,
Tony Pollard, yeah, I love
Tony Pollard. This is the Titans that I care about.
Would you pay borderline first for him on a contender right now?
No way I'm getting anywhere near an actual true first. I'll throw around a fucking second, even an early second for sure. But like, just out of principle and what the first is and the whole chaos and injuries, Mike, we are 6 weeks in. People are. I don't think people realize how many injuries we've had, dude. It's insane.
Mid-second and a late second, would you toss that at Tony Pollard on your contending team? If you could start Tony Pollard right now in your flex or RB2 spot?
I would do it in the correct situation, meaning I know that right now I'm going to be able to put him in my lineup, lock him in. It fills a hole, and it's not going to completely erode my treasure trove and get out of jail cards. So if I have that scenario, which I do have some teams like that, yeah, I'd probably do it. I will say though, more often than not, I probably am not going to be buying him. Not that I don't want to. It's just probably getting to a little bit of more of a peak in his price. Is great. But I think there's other options you can get probably cheaper where I definitely prefer Pollard, but like the cost difference might be better.
Get you.
Because Tajay, remember the Tajay thing? That was fun, huh? The Tajay thing.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately.
Here he is. This is the old number. Maybe he should go back to it. It's all.
He might.
The usage is just Tony, and Tony every time he gets the ball looks better. So we're not changing. The Colts, I don't know. Pittman did play and actually had a. There's Alec Pierce. We can get rid of him, but yeah, he had a touchdown.
Had
and
2 big catches, 1 touchdown, and then 1 to kind of seal the game on the draft.
It's crazy. Like no matter how many I make, I wish people understood the amount of hologram. If you've come every week, you know. Okay, I have hundreds, Mike, and every week I'm literally getting to the point where we're like an hour and a half from recap, and I'm like, okay, I got to make decisions. Like Flacco, like there's so many guys you have to make. I didn't get a Flacco one in. He's one that
good,
dude. It's
Do I got to be the guy to pour cold water on this, man? I love Joe Flacco. The story. Thank you for winning me $2,500.
I knew you would. I knew you would. I was trying to set you up. Yeah.
Here's the fucking thing, Adam. We've had 8 quarters of football over the last 2 games for Joe Flacco. He's played good in fucking 3 of them. That's less than half.
Anthony Richardson had a good first game, but when is the last time he had 3 good quarters though?
That's true. But Flacco shit the bed for 3 fucking quarters this game. Played well the last one. Last week, shit the bed for the whole first half. Had a furious comeback, which we kind of acknowledged, like, oh, look at that.
Flacco he's very much a hot and cold guy, but when it's hot, you can see it's like, okay, we're cooking. But yeah, he gets hot and cold. There's no question.
A pocket quarterback who just threw for 189 yards against the Titans, who are inept. You know, like they almost lost to the Tennessee Titans, whose starting quarterback is Maye Will Levis, who threw for 95 yards and a pick. Like he's fucking Cade McNamara out there. And this is the battle that Joe Flacco's winning, and people want to suck him off for it. I don't understand this obsession we have with backup quarterbacks. I don't fucking get it.
I think Mike, the conversation, though, just happens to be so pointed because Joe Flacco last year was an absolute mayhem. You cashed in some checks, so you know the drill.
Yes.
And so
Joe.
It happens to be Heroic Joe, whatever you want to call him, the legend. You're getting people literally saying he's a legend as they're walking by the interview after. But the problem is, Mike, Anthony Richardson is someone a lot of people did not believe in as a quarterback, and he's coming off of not just the injury, but the games in which he's showing those. You knew there was going to be hot and cold for him too, but he's happened to be a little bit icy, not in a good way right now, right?
He just had a 47-yard rushing touchdown by Joe Burrow.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Mike, we are gonna get crucified because if Joe Burrow's a Konami code guy, we are in trouble.
fucking nuts, man. Who knew?
What? I need to see this replay. What kind of play is this? Do safeties exist? This is insane. 47.
I think 11 players on the Giants blew out their Achilles on the play.
I mean, it is the Giants going Giants. So
47-yard
I don't know.
rushing touchdown.
I don't care
on the bingo list for today. That's for sure.
I will say though, I kind of don't care about this offense now. And with Taylor out, like I don't know, dude.
It was bad, but you want to talk about like garbage Ben? How about the fact that Tyler Goodson was the running back tone, not that shitty ass Trey Sermon from Ohio State / Oklahoma / never did fuck except for 3 games. It is
Trey Sermon. Let's be real. Trey Sermon is a spot start that you don't love at any capacity, and if you do, you're just being. You have problems looking at reality.
All those people fired up Trey Sermon when it should have been Sean Tucker. Who knew?
Well, last week, of course it's going to repeat itself.
I will say, though, Josh Downs with Joe Flacco starting is somebody that you got to put in your fucking lineup.
Josh Downs is the biggest up and down needle mover from a quarterback switch with those type of player types. Nick kind of gave me some pushback on it, but I'm like, bro, I think Flacco and Downs is awesome. Rich and Downs, I don't want any part of, man, personally. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of good, man. Here's the one thing I don't want any part of, no matter who's the quarterback, is right now Adonai Mitchell has been just fucking terrible.
I put him in there. There was 2 trades, Mike. 2 trades in Dynasty. Adonai and a third for Chris Godwin. That was my money move.
Jesus.
If you can get that done,
money move.
I would send at this point, I'd probably send a first in Adonai.
You almost paused yourself, and I was going to have to jump in.
Just because I know the prices are moving. Like last week, it's like you might not have to send a full first because he's coming off of some cool weeks. That price doesn't exist anymore. It's a first at minimum right now for Godwin.
I think it's fucking Kilmo for like the last 6 months has been trying to get Adonai off me for a second, and I refused to like send it to him.
Why didn't you just give him to him? Put fucking Adonai on his team.
I feel like the price is fab now.
Kilmo, you still want to talk? We can talk. We can definitely talk. I don't know.
Maybe it was Slim no. Either way, it's somebody who ends in a no.
Thielen, I don't know why we got him, but the Panthers. What do you do here?
Again, backup quarterback talk. You guys love fucking Andy Dalton. I don't know why he's fucking terrible, man.
Because he gave any bit of life. Because Bryce Young was horrible too. That's the only reason.
So, as soon as that calendar turned to October, with the real Andy Dalton, please stand up. Yes.
It's funny how it actually went like 100% to the calendar when it's. Listen, if you thought the Andy Dalton experience was going to be all of a sudden different this time, where it's consistent and great every week, I mean, I don't know what to. I have nothing to say about that, honestly.
He threw it to Deontay. At least we got a Deontay touchdown. The guy who can never score touchdowns, right? He's getting touchdowns all the time. So you love to see it.
Where are you at with him? There's 2 players on this team to talk about, in my personal estimation. Although Leggett got a touchdown too, right?
I think Deontay's perfect if you value him as a wide receiver 3 type. But I'm not going any higher. I'm not buying in yet. Fucking dude needs an offense and a team.
The one thing is like he's a. I agree with the point. I think he's a.
Can they trade him? Can they trade him to Kansas City?
No.
Can we get that?
No.
Okay.
I would love it. I would love it.
Could he go back to Pittsburgh and be the number 1?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I would like. I'm like these aren't. It's not that I want to be the person that says no. It's just, unfortunately, I am. Where is? Oh my God! The fact that Chuba's hologram right now is broken is gonna just absolutely kill me because he has been someone we both talked about. We are.
Yes. Our money moves, our OG money moves for this season.
Dude, how fun is it when it's just like the projection I could give a shit about? I just pencil him in RB1, RB2 every week, and I know when I just look at the person next to him, I'm like, I got a puncher's chance to smash this running back, absolutely obliterate this running back.
Yes. And it's a good one that's like well known.
That's what I mean. Like someone's looking at like Travis Etienne. Oh yeah, Etienne over Chuba. Okay.
No.
I almost don't want to touch. I really don't want to touch on what happened in that backfield today. That's
wolf.
Buddy, we got to get Dougie out of here.
Chuba. Please. Does he make it back? Is this second week dude who goes over to England, doesn't have a fucking job on Monday.
I think we need to give him a little more Urban Meyer treatment. You know, like you're fucking this thing up, man. Like we need to give you some real. You know.
Nope. How about the Falcons? Drake London did his thing again, make me continue to look like an asshole.
I want to give you something here. Actually, I'm kind of curious. What you and Barry were really giving me, all the XL stuff. Here he is. The Chuba one's killing me that it's not working. But XL, what are you feeling? Give me your crazy thoughts.
It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. Right. It's a slow burn.
So it's not Adonai, but you're feeling okay.
He's done 10 times.
Well, that's obvious. That's obvious.
Yes. He's getting a little bit more comfortable. I don't know if the targets are ever going to actually get there in 2024, but I like it. He's not going to be one of those face planter wide receivers at least. So we're on that pace, which I love.
That is true.
And it's way more promising than what Jonathan Mingo was for this team last year. And even I, in the offseason, was like, maybe I buy into Mingo at current cost.
No, I'm glad.
I definitely buy into Xavier Leggett in the offseason. If this is kind of, every couple of weeks I get, 2 catches, 30 yards, a tutty.
Mingo's actually out there still is what's the crazy part. So he's just not doing anything. Last week, Mike, I said, going into the week, I said, the targets are coming up for London to a point where this is going to sound crazy at the time. I'm like, I think London might happen. And because at the point he hadn't happened and everyone's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like London just doesn't happen. Dude, let me ask you, I know it's, I'm not trying to go with your take was right or mine wrong. I'm more on these last 2 weeks. Are you buying into what you're seeing here or is this a little bit more fluke to you?
So last week I said fluke and then I forgot that they played the Panthers this week who have a terrible defense. And
Fair.
All of a sudden it's like, listen, though, I can't say fluke again, though, when it's 2 weeks in a row. So maybe I'm like 75% I was wrong. How about that? That's where we're at. I'm still holding on to 25%. If he comes out next week with a fucking goose egg against a real team, I'd be like, I'll jump right back in on me trying to be right, but it's not looking good.
As a person that does this with Mike, and it's my boy, we've been ride or die since no one listened to us other than our friends and family, and even then I don't even know if they did. They just signed up for our $1 Patreon. Mike, he's a tough one. So when he gives you 75% he's wrong, in 2 weeks that's about as good as you can get. So I'll just say at this point, London is starting to, at least for me, feel like the optimism in what you thought he could become is actually still a real thing. Do you believe that Pitts is still something that can become?
He's still a tight end, so I still don't give a shit.
I'm with you. I guess let me just, for the people that don't subscribe to this, should be a Warped Tight End life. Are you comfortable? Or are you feeling good about what you're seeing as far as his recent performances, or do you think it's just kind of?
It's a little better. I mean, he had a nice play off a broken play, where Kirk found him later, but. If you got some Pitts optimism, let me help out those people who still believe in him. The one thing I can say, and especially this is tied to Drake London too, is Kirk Cousins these last few weeks has been playing really, really well.
He looks a lot more comfortable.
Now he's not still I still have some mobility questions because he almost refuses to move.
I had mobility questions prior to the fucking.
Well, I did too, but maybe it's just a different style of offense. But Kirk has been fucking cooking, man. Kirk has been cooking.
I think the recipe for this team is that though. The fun part is that's what it's going to have to be. Let this dude 18, the grossest, go back there and chuck it.
Here's the one I'll pull cold water on after this week though.
Bijan.
I'm still not buying this Bijan thing.
I was getting ready to tell people don't do it. Yards, this is the Panthers. This is the Panthers, man. This is the Panthers. If he does it again next week, Mike, I'll give you the same conversation you just had about London. Damn, maybe I was wrong because I don't think he has a talent issue. I just don't think that we're going to see the talent that we want to see in fantasy production consistently at all. In my personal opinion.
And it's a new regime, but Tyler Algier is still a fucking problem, man. 18 touches, 105 yards.
I thought we got rid of him when we got rid of Arthur.
I fucking thought we did too, but we obviously did not. So what I'll say for actionable advice. As a guy who owns a lot of Bijan across my portfolio, this is what I was waiting for. Like, thank you. 2 touchdowns, 95 yards against the fucking
What
Panthers.
the hell
Hopefully
are you
people won't be
waiting
paying attention. Yes.
for?
This week will be the week where I go out and I try to send those fucking deals away sending Bijan away. Maybe I go get Saquon Barkley, who just came off a bad week,
I think
and get a plus.
I do think, to be a point on this, like I think you got to be careful and craftful with it, though. I don't think you can just go out there and try to do a Bijan 1-for-1 trade. I think you got to put him in a package where it doesn't look like you're trying to sell high on the Bijan game, because I think you can actually pull it off if it's not like right in someone's face.
Obviously.
Like, here, Bijan, he's back, 2 first, I want it now. Like, be a little mindful and craftful of, it was the Panthers and you're trying to get someone to take this from you, you know?
Or you got to be like really crusty and gross. Like for
Sure.
example, if you could go out and you send Bijan for David Montgomery a first and, kick in something that I might be able to start in a lineup league. Best
Sure.
ball, fucking the best ball makes it easy, but even I'm talking to the lineup people. Give me fucking Deontay Johnson. Give me Deontay Johnson.
Now you're getting dirty.
David Montgomery
now you're
first and
getting
Deontay for Bijan. You don't think that'll get done after this week? I think it might.
Mike, I don't know if you heard that. We have a bunch of blow-ups for the Chicago Bears today.
Let's fucking go, man. Everybody was panicked on Caleb Williams.
The London game too. Like, dude, we got Caleb Williams in London, buddy. You don't even want to turn it on, right? He's gonna be horrible.
It feels so good, man. It feels so good, especially because I had a couple situations where I did not take Jaden Daniels at the 101 because I wanted to diversify my portfolio, and I figured Caleb was good too.
I would have told you it was the right thing to do.
Caleb?
I was wrong. And not only was I wrong, it's painfully wrong, right?
So it feels good that my Caleb shares are going up too, man. And Konami Caleb. Konami Caleb was.
Well, I think what's weird. It's the Jag, so what it is there. Like, as far as how much you want to put stock into it. But bro, what I will say is, I don't know if he's getting more. I think we kind of talked about this. I think he's getting a little more comfortable with the speed of the game, but his scrambling ability right now is made very clearly more noticed to me. The last 2 weeks, as far as it's not like looking like way delayed and you're just getting crushed. He's actually made some decent moves, and then obviously that run, you're like, well, I knew he could run, but I didn't. Maybe it's just this week though. Burrow was running for 50-yard touchdowns, so maybe just this week is a weird one. I don't know. It looked good.
No, I think it's a thing though. Just talking about Caleb, where he's starting to learn to like, listen, man, if you're gonna give me the run, I'm just gonna take the run. I know I want to be this pocket guy who makes all these plays, deep downfield, and I'm always looking for the home run shot. But if you're gonna give me fucking 10 yards on a scramble, fuck y'all, I'm taking it. Like, and I think that's something that he's learning how to do.
I'm agreeing,
and he's got the ability to do it. So I think this is a huge trend. What I
really wish I was seeing the last 2 weeks, which I'm not, and I'm starting to get for this season, not feeling so gravy, is Roma Dunze, where art thou, buddy? 2 targets today. The Keenan Allen Rome thing to me today was not a fun look at
2 words. Shane Waldron.
Yeah.
We saw this shit last year with JSN, man. That dude was not telling a lie in the offseason when he was like, I'm glad this motherfucker's gone.
Hey, T-Rock, try to send me Rome for DK again. DK's coming off a shit week. See how that goes,
I still love Rome, but this is probably going to be one of those that you and I pocket. We enjoy some
sure.
occasional good games like we did a couple weeks ago. And Keenan Allen is not the picture of health, but until Keenan Allen or DJ Moore is not in the lineup and he's the number 2 receiver instead of the number 3 receiver, I don't know if in a Shane Waldron offense we can ever get 3 receivers that can cover.
Yeah, I would have just liked to seen, even if he was the clear 3, that it was closer to not dead. Like, he had 2 for 40. He caught both. But, like, Keenan Allen, the target command he had and the way that it looked very clean and comfortable with where Caleb was finding him, like, that was enough to me. Like, I've had Rome in a lineup league every week. I've just been like, all right, I'm just going to keep rolling with this because the upside's going to come. I think it's time to put childish things aside. On the shelf. It's time to go put him in the cupboard, buddy. Yeah.
And for those of you, listen, I'll say it right now in week 6, we're probably in for worse weeks ahead where it's going to get real sketchy and we'll have questions on AMA or like, should we panic on Rome because he's only done this? I am still going to very much believe in Rome Dunze for the long term. So I'll say this, if you're with me, knock on wood if you're with me, probably by like week 12 or 13, let's revisit this because that might be the time to go buy, all your Rome shares when people are just shitting the fucking bed on him. Like, we're like, I still very much believe in the talent.
Do you believe in this talent?
I fucking believe in this guy, man. Just when I think I'm out, he fucking pulls me back in these last 2 weeks. He pulls
me back in. Dude, I don't know if you remember me saying this. I'm like, with DeAndre Swift, in order for him to get ready to give you something, he's got to get you to the point of such uncomfortability, so scared that you're thinking about dropping the fucker. Like, you got to get to that point before we get the games. I will say, though, 3 weeks in a row now, stop playing with my name. Like, stop playing with my name. Like, what? The running back landscape is doing better at the top, but it's still fucking a dumpster fire when we get to a certain point. DeAndre Swift, like, okay, if he has some bad weeks, I wouldn't say that's crazy, but his usage is good. The offense is getting better. He looks good. What he could get hurt, sure. Okay, we're gonna play the injury game. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
I did see some stuff like, do I sell high on DeAndre Swift? Like, what do we sell it high for? He's like RB25 on Keep Trade Cut. He's just barely holding off fucking Chase Brown, for fuck's sake.
You know what can I tell you what the crazy part about Swift is? If you've been watching the games, which some are painful, some are fun, he has been getting robbed of fantasy points amidst these 3-week games.
Yes. Not so much this week. Like, I saw this week, I was like, okay, they didn't fucking put Rashad in. Thank God. They didn't put him in. But, man, it's tough, too, because I'm like a big Roshan guy. I love the guy coming out, and I thought he was going to be highly used. But this was last year in 2023 when the backfield was, Deontay Foreman and Shitters and Travis Homer.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Rashad looks like shit compared to DeAndre Swift, period. When they run the football, Rashad looks funny. Like, it looks like he's hunched over the whole time. I don't understand it. Like, the running style is kind of gross.
He's got a bigger, like, a frame, especially when you watch a guy like Swift, who's a lot more nimble. But, like, the thing
if you were to ask me which one of these guys looks like they played quarterback at one point in fucking college.
Wow. You trying to bury Roshan right now. You trying to bury his ass. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But
he looks
with Swift,
like Carson Beck.
With Swift, I'm kind of interested to see what the snap share is from this week because I think it's going to be a little bit of a fraudulent one given the fact that they were so dominantly ahead and he didn't play a lot towards the end. But Mike, the last 2 weeks prior to this, 63 and 67%. Say what you will about that, but that's towards the top 12 in the NFL on a weekly basis. He's getting, Mike, the last 3 weeks, not just the run game, but the passing opportunity, 7 targets, 2 targets, 4 targets. This is a guy that has dual threat ability. The one concern I do have, if I do have one, Mike, is that I think we could be looking at an absolute cupcake of a schedule in these last 3 games. And we are looking at, when you go to the later part of his season, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit again, San Fran, Seattle. We'll see what those defenses end up becoming. But, like, I guess what are you going to do about that? You have to figure it out because I don't think you should trade him because of the schedule. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you should. Maybe you should see if you can get something pivoted to it. But I've liked what I've seen out of him. I definitely understand why people are tired of the Swift thing. They don't want to be a part of it. They just want it to be over. It's not over. The experience is not over. Far from it.
The next 3 games are cupcakes, at least. So
yeah, they are.
Commanders.
You got 3 more games of fucking Fugazi, buddy. Yep.
So maybe you get him now. And then come the fucking Packers game, or especially the Vikings game, we're talking mid to late November. If you want to make the heady move where you pivot him 1 for 1, or you pivot him for a guy that's perceived as a down tier, that you're just playing the schedule game and get a plus on it, or whatever the fuck it is, get some fab. I don't give a shit. Maybe that's the heady move if you're that kind of micromanager. But for at least for the next 3 fucking games and what we've seen so far, I want some Swift because of, 1, he looks good. 2, and like you said, Adam, this offense is getting fucking better. The offensive line is learning how to run block. They're learning how to pass protect, and they're kind of getting in the groove, man. Caleb looks more and more comfortable. So this could be a Bears team, which we never really say, a Bears team who might be an offensive, kind of gem.
They're starting to come around. So, Mike, let me ask you just if I told you this aloud. The last 3 weeks, every single week a top 5 running back. Which guys do you think would fit that bill?
Oh, every single week?
Mm-hmm. No off games. 3 weeks in a row, top 5.
I give you Derrick Henry, and I'll give you
Derrick Henry was
Alvin
RB9 in PPR leagues last week.
Kamara.
Kamara, I was gonna pull up. I don't actually know the answer, but I'm just thinking as I'm looking at this, right? Like, dude, just think about that for a second. If there's someone else out there, it's gonna have to be someone great or playing amazing. Like, I don't know if Chuba did it. I think he just missed it probably. Let's pull up Alvin.
Yeah.
Alvin could be the one that does thread the needle. But the point, I guess, Mike, is that we're talking about
last week. Alvin Kamara wasn't a top 5 running back.
Because you know how hard it is to be a top 5 running back 3 weeks in a row.
That's a lot.
So even if these are cupcake matchups, he smashed. That's what you wanted to do with a cupcake, right? Like, I guess I feel as though people are just out on the player, they're out on the experience, and there's a part of this in general the offseason. I felt like his price was pretty egregious in redraft too, just from a standpoint of like people were kind of saying, is he even going to be the running back in this backfield after the contract he got? And then do you even want a running back on this team? Like,
The only guy who was close, because nobody's done it outside of Swift. The only guy who was close.
I had a feeling it might be
David
Demont, who's been balling his ass off.
Yeah, David Montgomery.
I don't know what else you want. If you don't want a part of it, trade him to me. Okay, I already have too much, but go ahead. Cole Kmet, Mike. Cole Kmet, buddy. Talk about A-Warp tight end life, huh?
There it is, man.
Smashing all the tight ends that you could think of, including your Prince.
That's all you fucking needed, man. All you needed to do was just go in, fade all the top tight ends, the Kyle Pitts, and the Dalton Kincaids.
Take the one that falls to you. The Cole Kmet.
You'd be the last guy at the fucking table to take a starting, quote-unquote, starting tight end and just enjoy it, right? Like, if you did that with Dallas Goedert, not this week because he went out very fucking early with, I think it was a hamstring or whatever the fuck it was for him. Mm-hmm. But if you did that with Dallas Goedert the last couple of weeks, you enjoyed the shit out of it. Sure, and then if you did it now with Cole Kmet here with these last couple of weeks, you're enjoying the fuck out of it. Like,
for sure.
Just always be the dude. It doesn't matter if it's Dynasty, a startup, a redraft startup, whatever. Be the last person to take a starting tight end for your team.
Can I give you not just like I'll give you where the one time I broke that this year. Can I tell you how much I regret it? So, Mike, it was really late in the redraft league. So it's the big money league. So I'm like, all right, I know Watson sucks, but damn it, I'm a Browns fan, and we're to the point where all the tight ends are gone except Njoku, really. And I'm like, all right, it's like the 10th round. Fuck it, like I don't want to wait 2 more. Just come on, give it to me, buddy. You talk about epic disaster. Because guess who was on the board that was the last tight end taken in that league? In redraft leagues, Mike, because it's not Dynasty, Mr. Brock Bowers.
Oh, shit.
All I would have had to do, Mike, is just be the guy, the sensible, what I knew all along. Here's the thing. You break process once like that, it tells you get fucked like that. And Cole Kmet is honestly, Mike, moving forward, he's going to be boom or bust, but the booms are so great. Who cares? That's what you need. So, he's Kittle.
Cole Kmet is more than likely, I don't think that's changing, finishing as tight end 1 on the week. Here's a crazy thing, man. Mm-hmm. You talked about Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is going to finish as tight end probably 5 on the week. Hunter Henry and Noah Fant comfortably tight end 1s on the week.
I wish I can't wear all the jerseys at once, buddy, but this Noah Fant thing, huh? Like, it's not even happening, but it's happening enough. Like, that's how bad the tight end landscape is. He's had 2 games of 6 catches for 60 yards and 63 yards. He is giving you everything you need right there. That's how crazy
Mark
the landscape is.
Andrews didn't even have a good fucking day. A good day, and he's tight end 6 on the week.
I mean,
tight end 6.
Anyway, Trey McBride, how great he was. He outscored Noah Fant by 3 points, 2 points. Cool, awesome.
The only thing we get to talk about on the other side of the fucking game of the Bears-Jags is Evan Ingram. He's back.
I was gonna actually. So here, I want to talk about this now. I think don't panic. Do not overreact to this. Period.
Please, because he should have had a tutty.
Now I will say,
Gabe Davis.
Everybody caught. Everybody had the hands team was not to be found in this Jaguars offense, bro. How many touchdowns were dropped? That's impossible in an NFL game. No.
Fucking wild, man. Poor Trevor Lawrence too, man. Out there trying to fucking fight for his life.
I'll be honest, dude. That team needs I think Trevor Lawrence gets too many passes though, because I agree Irvin was bad. I agree Doug Peterson's showing horribly, but like at a certain point we need to have a little accountability for 16 too.
Every single pass catcher out there other than Evan Ingram can feel safe this weekend when they get back. Like, they can feel safe fucking hookers without condoms because they can't catch shit. Like, you're good. You ain't gonna get no syphilis, no chlamydia. You ain't getting nothing. Like, take the rubber off, you'll be fine.
Well, I will say, though, Mike, I was worried to see when he would play, and if he did come back, when that would be, and then also ultimately, like, soft tissue injuries in this guy have gone pretty poorly. Let's just call it that way. They
have a history.
Target volume.
10 for 10.
Pretty damn good at the tight end position. There's something about Trevor Lawrence's conservative nature that just is going to 17, buddy. It's just it's what they do, man. It's what they do.
It's just blanky. Well, and then too, now you factor it in when he does throw the ball into the end zone to Gabe Davis, he drops it. When he throws the ball into the end zone to Brian Thomas, that motherfucker drops it. Like, just go to 17, he'll catch it.
Buddy, is it so bad? Like, I had a hard time watching the other half, like the Jaguars half of this game, when it was so fun to watch the Bears aside from the Roma Dunze thing. That's how. Now this running back situation is ready for me to poke my eyes out. This is the one in particular, if you remember earlier in the show, annoying. Dearness Johnson is just out there.
Why?
Like he's the one. He was the one. Dearness Johnson. I refuse to make a hologram, Doug P. I'm not doing it.
Why is Dearness Johnson out on the field?
Can I tell you what I think? Can I tell you what I think, though, unfortunately, for Tank Bigsby truthers, and I like him? I think he must be a terrible, or zero trust in pass pro. They don't fucking trust him a soul at all.
You know what this reminds me of? As a guy who's, I enjoyed the best of Doug Peterson, and I've also enjoyed the worst of Doug Peterson.
More the latter, typically.
But do you remember Doug Peterson? He used to have this affinity for playing Boston Scott for no fucking reason.
Of course. How could you forget?
Whatsoever. Like, we don't give a fuck. Put Boston Scott on. Miles Sanders would go out like the week before and have damn near 200 yards. And then like the next week we're getting Boston Scott like 10 touches. Just because.
I don't want it. This was so... Dude, I'm trying to be nice, but that was such a sight for poor eyes, dude. That really hurt to see, because like you're hoping Tank Dell, which also we'll get to, but Tank Bigsby like starts to get his, start to get his teeth into this role, and it's not. They just told you, listen, it doesn't matter who it is. We're not gonna give it to him. I don't care.
So the answer of what Jags running back do you want to own under the Doug Peterson regime is no one. None.
So painful. It's honestly, that one hurt. Just if he wasn't gonna do it, he wasn't gonna do it. Like if Tank wasn't gonna seize it, he wasn't gonna seize it. But this shit, Doug, get out of the way, man. Stop it.
It's so bad. So bad.
Mike, I made a elaborate Drake May for you, all for it not to still be ready, and it's killing me. I went a little overboard. I was trying to give you all your crops because I was out here like, I don't know that it's going to happen right away. Production-wise, for fantasy purposes, it happened right away. And it happened so much right away that I tried to go OD on the hologram, and it's probably about 8 minutes out, which means it'll be after the show's over. So, fuck.
So let's talk fantasy purposes. Very good. Very good. I don't think even I had these kind of expectations. NFL purposes, though, because that is tied to job security and everything else going forward, it was up and down for him, NFL-wise. He made some very, very good plays, very, very good throws, where you're
he looked the part.
Holy shit, yes, you looked the part. He also made a couple very, very Will Levis-esque, not as bad.
I think that is to be expected for rookies. I think Jaden Daniels is going to warp people's mind to do that. That's not how it's supposed to be, right?
He was up and down, but I like what I saw from Drake May. And let's take this away, man. The victory lap I will take is Drake May should have been the starting quarterback from the get-go, because he is 10 times better for this team than Jacoby Brissett ever was.
Well, I mean,
You saw him come out versus the Houston defense and put up fucking numbers and make throws that Jacoby Brissett has not made all fucking year, even against cupcakes.
I mean, but like the thing is, I don't understand head coaches that think that that's not going to be the case. Like, obviously Drake May is going to have some more risk than Brissett because he doesn't take any risk. But there's the upside. There's not upside for Brissett. He's a replaceable level. Like he's a bridge quarterback. He's a solid bridge quarterback. That's it.
Yeah. On the downside, Antonio Gibson had every opportunity in the world.
Dude,
to do
buddy,
something.
we got to get his up. We got to get his up because I was ready for it 2 weeks ago, but then Ramondre was like, no, I'm not having this. So much so that he wasn't ready to go this week. He hurt himself basically seizing that job again. Dude, huh? Well, what the?
Jimmy, what the fuck?
Just when we buried him, we bring him back to life for him to just stay dead. I was not expecting this. He was a great pickup late for teams, I thought, and not so much.
He was so inept and bad today that some dude named Terrell Jennings got run.
Yeah, you know about him. You know about Terrell.
No, I have no idea who the fuck Terrell Jennings was until today.
Terrell
I'm
is
like, who the fuck?
Terrell is Gibby. Terrell is Gibby's daddy. To fucking put some respect on my man's name, like
from Florida A&M.
The Rattlers, baby. The Rattlers. Come on.
The Rattlers.
FAMU. Let's go.
FAMU. Hey, man. Drake May made DeMario Douglas relevant. He made Keisha Butte relevant, and Hunter Henry got in the end zone. I call that a success.
I mean, well, dude, the team they played is a much different animal. Now, Drake May, if you didn't used to see a blowout and you didn't watch, like, dude, he performed. I will say this. The team on the other end looked really good given you lose a guy like Nico Collins. I'm not saying they don't have weapons. I'm not saying we haven't seen CJ Stroud play elite ball with not Nico, but dude, buddy, first of all, let's give Joe Mixon, huh? You ready to give a couple apologies? I was giving Andrew every bit of like, dude, he's not going to be ready when he comes back high ankle.
Yep.
Even if it's a high ankle or not, he looked good enough to fucking go crazy today.
He looked fantastic coming off a high ankle, which I did not think was possible.
Because I thought basically, Mike,
good. Whoops.
Because he did look so good, I feel confident in saying now what I didn't think was going to be the case at all. Almost zero range of possibilities. Basically, I thought it's like, okay, he's obviously not ready to go. That's why they keep slow playing this. There might have been a part of them that's like, listen, Joe, let's give you one more week. Let's see if we can get this one more week. Let's get you feeling more as close to 100% before we rush you back. Because Akers is a cone, but we'll just, we can get through with him for a week.
Yeah.
He looked great, dude. Mixon.
He looked fantastic.
I mean, we'll see if this is here to stay, but, dude, I have no reasons to doubt it after this week. He looked every bit of the old Mixon. So,
you and I talked about it with the old running backs. And we both had acknowledged Joe Mixon, but our biggest concern was the high ankle, keeping him out of that one. Mm-hmm. I would say after this week, if we revisited that conversation, both you and I would probably have him in the RB1 territory of running backs for this season.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
easily.
I mean, how do you – I really did not expect – you could have told me he looked good this week, Mike, and I wouldn't have said that he played this well, though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
Hard to beat the way he played today.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry for doubting you, man. Jesus.
Of course, absolutely.
Really
you look great, Mike. I'm asking. Okay. After this week.
Thank God.
After this week, while it could still be a loss, not as bad. The pivot from Brian Thomas to Tank Dell and a plus. I'm not saying it's the correct play, but Tank Dell's getting back. He feels
as an avid Tank Dell. I was an avid Tank Dell owner who's been shitting his pants.
You look great.
As an avid Tank Dell owner who's been shitting his pants, I want you to put the word out there that we back up.
Mike, I'm gonna start having. I don't know if you caught the Noah Fant. I had Noah Fant. I've been working on this thing where Noah Fant can say that. I'm gonna start having some of these players say that here on holograms. I really like that. It's time to.
We back up.
Tank Dell had buddy. I felt like this week though. This is gonna seem way over the top, but I felt like his season kind of hinged on how he'd look this week. I didn't need him to perform quite this well, but I just needed to see it because if he had a dud without Nico, I'm like, oh no, what's happening?
How are we talking about Tank Dell versus the Patriots in a game that they dominated?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Texans dominated the whole time. If Tank Dell goes out and goes fucking 2 for 25.
I'm ready to call. I'm ready to call the cops. I've been fleeced. I'm in trouble.
We're done. We're done. So 7 for 57 in a tutty. We back in.
And he looked good.
And
CJ Stroud was looking his way. He looked good.
The leading target earner.
Well, I was gonna say because Mike, I put it on money moves. Maybe a little hot, maybe a little above where I should be with my britches. But dude, I was told that this motherfucker don't miss.
Stefon Diggs looked good today too, man.
I mean, listen, I don't know. The thing about Diggs that was weird to me about it, Mike, is like, okay, yes, Nico's out of the lineup. Yes, that could be a good thing. I just don't know that, like, Diggs has been wide receiver 8. Like, where do you think he's going to go?
He ain't going down.
Like, I mean, yeah. Down. Well, my point is, like, it's also like, okay, he might go up, but if he stays at wide receiver 8, like, we
have talked about a few players already on this show who have egregious keep trade cut ranks already. Is there anybody more egregious than Stefon Diggs at wide receiver 39? Did
you catch on Money Moves how I talked about how people don't know what they want? With like Diggs is 10 spots below Godwin, but in the market, as soon as Nico went out, people started trading arms and legs for him. But like, but they don't want to keep, or even trade probably for that matter on keep trade cut. What the craziest part when I did Money Moves, and I wish I would have put this out there. I think you put it on Friday. You said it. The guy's situation got so exciting that people are putting him down on keep trade cut. What?
Like, nah, it's too good.
I can't. We got 2 teams to talk about before we get out of here. I don't even know how to make sense of that. That's just dumb.
They put CJ Stroud up, man. He earned it fucking today too, even though it was 192, but he looked in command and ran the football a few times. Now,
sure
did. Yardage at the end ain't gonna look the fucking greatest, but it's nice to see him take off every now and then.
He ain't Konami. Yeah. He's not still appropriately valued, but listen, I'll be damned if I tell you he ain't a good NFL quarterback. That's a fucking farce.
Fantastic.
Let me ask you, is this guy a good NFL quarterback, and how'd you feel about him today?
I'm not gonna lie, they had us in the first half. Dude, he was Cade McNamara in the first half. I think at one point I looked at the fucking stat line for Bo Nix, and it was like 26 yards passing. And I'm like,
he was being outscored comfortably by Will Levis, and I'm like, oh no.
I don't know what the fuck it is with Bo Nix. Maybe he just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like Bo Nix is like, I don't give a shit what happens in the first half. You wait. You wait till after halftime.
Patience, my
I don't
friend.
know what he does.
RELAX.
And then he comes out like, here's probably the greatest thing about Bo Nix. Is it up and down with his passing sometimes? Yes.
1,000%.
Is this offense rough as shit? And I'll make all the excuses because when Devon Vele is your leading receiver, you probably have a fucking problem. Yes. Bo Nix is more athletic. Like, I don't want to say sneaky athletic. This motherfucker's just athletic. He goes out and he runs for 61 yards.
You got that little like gazelle
fantasy perspective.
Got that little gazelle hop, you know, like.
Yes, he does. Bo Nix, man, I'm so glad I got all these shares of fucking Bo Nix. It has been a roller coaster all season, but I'm glad to be on it, man.
I think you better just make sure you're strapped in because I think that roller coaster is going to continue, but like you reap the good with the bad.
I see no reason for that roller coaster to not continue. It's going to be up and down all fucking year, Adam. You're 1,000% right. But
now this roller coaster is one I want off of.
Yeah, fuck this roller coaster. This dude sucks.
I'm squinting. 6 touches for 23 yards as a running back rushing.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't want anything. Honestly, I don't really want anything to do with this offense outside of maybe Bo Nix and a decent quarterback scoring league. Honestly.
Here's a real question on Javonte. Like, did you and I get too over our skis and like we were excited with what we saw in our rookie year, and he wasn't actually good? Like, were we looking at the wrong things in his rookie year?
People will tell us that, and I think that here's the truth: we'll never know. We'll never know, right? But Mike, here's the truth. I think 1, the injury was not a good one. And I think 2, the offense, part of the excitement was, okay, Russ, who we found out was fraud. was coming. We thought this offense was going to take a huge step forward, and he was this young, exciting, dual threat running back that caught the ball, played a high percentage of snaps. Right now, like, we don't even get to see if this is even a thing. We're not even talking anywhere near the snap share. We're not getting to really see the I think Peyton and him is a match made in hell. I think this offense is horrible. I will not tell you that he could not be that. He may not be any more what we thought he once was. But I'm not also ready to say that he's completely horrible. I think this is just a situation you shouldn't want a part of at the running back position. You shouldn't.
You know what this reminds me of? Like, thinking back now, just through history. Sean Payton offense, right? Not with Alvin Kamara, not with Mark Ingram. Yeah. But do you remember them Sean Payton offenses with, like, Chris Ivory?
I was just going to – you took the name. 33, that ugly ugh. God.
Yeah. This is
just because it's Javonte's
like.
Javonte's 33. Oh, my God. No.
This feels like them Saints days with, like, the Chris Ivory as the lead back where you're like, who gives a fuck? Mike,
I've somehow become – I don't ever want to put Chargers were one of the games that you just wanted to always put on. Like, it's going to be fun to watch. But I could probably comfortably, if you told me I had to pick a team, it'd be between Cleveland and the Chargers. I don't have to watch. Like, I don't, it's just not, I don't know. It's just not fun to watch at all, dude. It's kind of sucks given the situation with the quarterback and how good you know he is.
Justin Herbert was cooking early too, man. And we got over 200 yards passing from Justin Herbert this week. And
hope you enjoyed it.
Lad McConkey is like 4 for 47.
Hope you enjoyed
43. It. Jesus Christ. Against the Broncos with no Pat Surtain, who went out very early. Yeah. There's no part of this offense I really am that excited for other than buying J.K. Dobbins on the low.
Kamani Vidal, any interest?
Yes, I am interested in
Talk
Kamani
about
Vidal.
Mike. Joe Flacco and Kamani Vidal were unfortunately the guys that they fell short of the list, and unfortunately the Drake May thing, I just botched that. But
here's the very shitty thing about Kamani Vidal. We'll look at it at the end of the week, but he only got 2 touches rushing the football, and at some point Gus Edwards will be back, and we'll be all disappointed because
I'm not buying in. I want to, my heart, but my body. Buddy, my body wants to, but my heart knows. It's just, don't do this. Don't do this.
Let me check here. 4 carries, 11 yards. Hassan Haskins, 2 carries, 5 yards.
I might have to give Kamani Vidal the Braylon Allen treatment, but far worse on money moves this week. Like, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? Like, if you tell me JK's out of the way, okay, cool. Remember, Mike, you know what's a fun conversation? Remember when Kamani Vidal was going to be the starting running back day one out of this backfield?
Who was, for those of you in the chat who are still fucking here, who the fuck was calling this Chargers game? Like, who was the color commentator?
Oh, dude, I can't. I know the name, and I can't think of it right now. Shit.
Okay. Well, whoever the fuck it was at one point, when Quentin Johnson limped to the sideline, said, both teams are without stars now. And I was, what the fuck? What the fuck? This man just said Quentin Johnson's a star too, because he did fucking nothing.
I pray that you just misspoke, because that is a bull-faced lie. You gonna get up there and just lie?
Yeah.
I just realized, Mike, I've only made Dobbins on a fire. We need a regular J.K. Dobbins for sure.
But, hey, J.K. Dobbins could be on fire. 96 and a tutty.
No, he did, but like
he's doing his thing.
I felt like it was pretty easy, and you don't have to overthink everything. The first 2 weeks were amazing. The last 2 weeks were bad matchups. We might find our way to be somewhat in the middle, and I think it's like, barring health, I think that's the thing. He's a middling running back that has upside weekly, much better than that, and he's in an offense that's going to fucking run the ball a lot. So every week you might have a better chance of upside than just the average one. But if you value him more than that, you must be drunk still on this old Ohio State, stud. And if you value him less than that, you can't get over the fact that he's a massive freak, and he's playing through Achilles injuries. I don't know what you want.
Here's the hot take. Here's the hot take for the people. The hot take.
All right.
How we value J.K. Dobbins in Dynasty should be exactly how we value Josh Jacobs in Dynasty.
Yeah. I knew you were going to go somewhere spicy. I'm not going to disagree. I'm also not, for the sake of hopefully keeping 100 viewers next time, vehemently agree.
Next week.
But I think, you know what? There's risks. There's different risks with JK, I think is probably the truth. But the reality is like what do you want out of the running back position?
J.K. Dobbins, perfect.
A lot of opportunity and a guy that still, whether it's great or not, has shown the ability to run away from people.
The question I had for you, the $1 million question, is did you make a Simi Fehoko?
I didn't, Mike. I barely made a Tolbert.
I did not even know Simi Fehoko was still in the fucking league until
Simi
today.
Fehoko. I did know a lot about your game. Unfortunately, I shouldn't have, but I didn't know about your status on the roster.
You and I knew a lot about his game because about 3 fucking years ago we had 77
We had
shares
fights.
of him.
We fought over it. It was the dumbest thing, but here we are. Mike, you know what? This is not a good point for Dallas, but I feel like it's a good way to end the show. Let's go ahead and let's show the Jalen Tolbert one. Let's get out of here on a. Is this Dallas's like most targeted player now? Is this is the CeeDee Lamb takeover? We should throw to this guy.
Listen, we started off the Bengals-Giants game with a long Joe Burrow touchdown. We're halfway through the second quarter, and it's still 7-0. So this has been the clusterfuck that I thought it was going to be. So I'm glad that we went way too long on the recap show because fuck this game, man.
Yeah,
listen,
the Giants fooled us.
NFL.
The Giants last week, they had it. They kind of went against all odds. Mike, we need Malik back, please. Can we get over this concussion?
God. Danny Dimes is. Sorry, I can't even say Dimes anymore. Fizz will get mad. Daniel Jones, 7 for 13, 74 yards and a pick halfway through the second quarter.
The guy that ran over his own feet. That's the Daniel Jones that we all know. Okay.
You would think on the other side the Bengals would be better. But Joe Burrow, 6 for 11 for 49 yards. So back to the keep trade
he
cut.
He might be a Konami code guy now. He's a 50-yard rushing touchdown with no passing upside,
Back to the keep trade cut I presented earlier.
Let me get CJ by a while, a good bit. And that's with him running a 50-yard touchdown. Mike, I would have said like his career long is going to be like upper 20s on some just wide open shit.
Yeah.
50-yard touchdown? Dude, I need to see this play. Did we part the Red Sea? Joe Burrow for 50 yards, just watching him run that far doesn't feel like it's going to be that fun to watch.
This is rough.
What do you think of this Jalen Tolbert guy? I know you've been a big fan of his game. And
No. No, I have not. I'm not ready to. Who fucking cares?
For Fizzle's sake, it's up here. I'm kind of trolling, but I'm also kind of wanting to hear where you're at too.
Do you think when Brandon Cooks comes off the IR, Jalen Tolbert's anything?
Honestly, I don't trust Dak to answer that question truthfully. Like, I think he shouldn't be, but I wouldn't. Dak has an affinity for throwing to this guy for whatever fucking reason.
Dak can barely fucking support Sedarian at this point.
Now, whether he's going to support either one of those guys moving forward, I don't know. But I know he's trying his best to. It's like, is the government assistant going to come through? I don't know. They're trying.
I guess Tolbert's like a fine best ball play. But
I think he actually for sure has become well in the best ball discussion, just usage wise, even if it's turd like. But let me ask you, like in lineup or in deep lineup leagues, 12 rosters or 12 starters, let's call it. You got to start at least 3 receivers and up to 5 or 6, right? Tolbert in that format, where are you there? Are you just still kind of like, I don't want no part of it?
Roster clogger.
I don't want no scrubs.
Roster clogger. Yeah, I'm fucking.
Do you think he's a roster clogger? I don't disagree. I'm also like wondering right now.
He's the Dallas version of Josh Palmer.
Dang. Well, honestly though, the Chargers version of Josh Palmer is that you don't want anything in that offense, let alone the Palmer. That's kind of enticing. That's kind of enticing in like a best ball league, though.
It's enticing in the best ball league, but even if this was last year's Josh Palmer in an up-tempo Chargers offense that throws the ball all over the place in a lineup league, that's still roster clogger.
Yeah, I think that if it's deep starters with the attrition we have, like he's probably someone you're starting in like 12 roster spots or 12 starters. But if we're talking lineup start 9, this is the guy you should be trying to move for any type of value in a fucking hurry. Like, I can't echo that enough.
A motherfucker goes up for any third immediately.
Yeah, no, that's a great
27.
call.
Don't
So,
give
like,
a
I'm
shit.
looking too, and, Mike, the other thing is a lot of, I guess it's inconsistent volume, but aside from when he caught a game-winning touchdown and had probably what will be a career day, he snuck into the top 12. The rest of it's like, not really actually very good for fantasy either. So
3, 5,
I think I'm
5 again.
those are targets. His finishes now, red. The yellow that Sleeper puts on there is like kind of fake news. Like, it won't make our consistency start weeks, spike weeks,
No.
but Sleeper says it's just not shitty. So I think Tolbert, if Tolbert is getting, I like the talent or the player as like a really late sleeper in redraft or in dynasty drafts, right? Like, shoot my shot on him at the end and hope for something. Like them coming out of South Alabama, but listen, if you have him, this is your cash out opportunity if you can for anything. Like, you got what you needed out of it, right? It's time to move on for me anyway.
Yep. And this is 5 targets in a game that Dallas was never in.
They were also like, all they can do, they just abandon the run in a hurry because we're down. It's 40-6. So guys, we're gonna have to chuck this thing.
We're gonna have to chuck it. Jalen Tolbert, 5 targets. Okay.
I will say, similar to the quarterbacks in warp scoring, Fizzle, like, the Cowboys won't be worse next week. That's for sure.
Jesus.
Like, I don't know that they're going to be better, but, Mike, I don't think they're going to be worse. It's basically an impossible thing. This reminded me of Green Bay, but worse.
Because they go to San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Cowboys is, like, they'll find a way over here and there to, like, answer the bell and really show up in a big game. But they just have a way of just, when they don't show, buddy, like, they really sent the JV squad up here. Like, they got absolutely rat raced out of this game.
They're going on a bye, and then in 2 weeks they travel to San Francisco.
You know what, Mike?
Watch San Francisco figure their shit out.
Hold on. The bye's slightly different this week. One thing, we talk about CeeDee Lamb and us casting this trajectory change. They came off the bye, and CeeDee got right. They came off the bye, and CeeDee got right. We're gonna.
Right.
You just cast the potential that maybe we see him unleashed. I mean, you better hope so, because you drafted him in the first fucking round in redraft, and startups you drafted him at 101 prices. So anyway, just like Jalen Tolbert, he should be off your roster. We should have been out of here a while ago, but we had to kick it with you guys. We love you. We'll see you back here, same time, same place next week for the recap show holograms, and then let me give you a little preview, Mike. One more week, and then you know what's coming. If you don't know, Halloween recap is in 2 weeks, the 27th. Make sure you put that on your calendar. You're not going to want to miss it. Mike, getting scared?
Fuck yeah.
Worth the price of admission, which is free. Love you. Peace.
Love y'all. Peace.